Hey, Mark and Joey here on a Monday morning, and Monday mornings mean tons of sports on the weekend, lots of sports on Sundays, which is fantastic. A lot of the alternative sports that don't run because they're outdoors during the winter when, basketball and hockey are all running, so keeps us excited for the summer. But however, we're talking car racing right now.
Oh, and breaking news, someone from the pole in F1 won a race.
Yeah, we're going to get to that because that is shocking. So we're going to talk about that, but also our fans are outdoors watching these races and beating sun. Our new sponsor, CoolEyeCover.com. Sunglasses at various price points for you. Great for you if you're being out there and being a spectator, Joey. You bought a pair. You're loving them.
Protect those eyes, guys. Yeah, the sun is out everywhere in North America. Finally, I know we've been waiting a long time for it. So be prepared. Grab a pair of sunglasses. Cool styles. Everything you could ask for. Sport, women's, men's, whatever you need, guys. And all price points, we said that. So whatever you're doing this summer, protect those eyes and look cool while you're doing it. CoolEyeCover.com. Check it out.
And perfect for the sport we're talking about now, car racing. Joey gave away our headline. There's someone from the pole won in F1, and guess who it was? Hamilton.
Wow.
So, we love the cars. We love the look of the cars. We love the speed, but oh my God, boring as hell. I watched the first turn, first lap, I guess I watched.
That was cool.
As soon as Hamilton was in front, I shut the TV off. I came back. I watched the last 3 laps. Hamilton was still in front, as happens every single week. Hamilton, I think, has only not won twice this year. Honest to God, F1, they make tons of money. So they don't have to listen to us. They're making money. People like their sport. But for us, someone else has to win. It can't always be the front two guys. Like, these races are over as soon as the first turn. The only hope you have of beating the guys in front is running the back of them on the first turn. Maybe knock them out of the race and you have a chance. Otherwise, every single week, unless they make a pit stop error, the same guy wins. The same two guys win. The 2 guys on the front are your winners every single week. There's nowhere to pass. I can't watch a sport. This is like, where you got NBA, and instead of playing the top 2 teams, show the top 2 teams, you show the 3rd, 4th, 5th guys and how they're doing against each other. Who cares? And that's what car racing is in F1. They have to show guys so far back in the field. Hamilton had like a 20-second lead. There's nobody touching him. I don't get it. That's our opinion. Like I say, they're making billions of dollars. They don't have to listen to us, but that's our own frustration of watching F1.
Well, real quick, first of all, it was 55
Oh my God, it was unbelievable. I don't know how those guys get in that car. You got to give those guys credit, man. And I saw their legs. They had a shot of their legs going in there. I mean,
131 degrees Fahrenheit. That is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how the people went out and watched them. That is some insane heat.
That was incredible, and they kept talking about that. But it is hot there during the summer, and people are kind of, you acclimatize yourself to whatever your issues are.
But the drivers don't live there, so that's new to 131 degrees, 55. I just couldn't. But anyways, move on for that.
But a lot of the sites they race in are pretty hot in the summertime, which is part of summer.
That's a good point. Monaco and all these great places around Europe are very warm, which is cool. I'm sure they prefer it over snow. I know I would, but wow, that's maybe that's why they got to go so fast. They probably open up their visor. They'll brace through there. But yeah, obviously very hot, but still an entertaining race. And we are obviously upset about the boredom of when Lewis got out after the start. Also, more importantly, actually both Mercedes cars were 1-2.
Yeah.
And we kind of knew that the Mercedes cars were pretty good. We also knew, which I thought was interesting, the Ferrari of Vettel was guaranteed to probably pass both McLarens. He did that. He moved up from 7th to 5th. So really it's amazing. Not amazing, maybe that's the wrong word, but how they're so easily predictable of who's going to move, how they're going to move, and who's going to win, what the finish order is going to be. And the commentators had it done before the race even started.
Well, quite honestly,
and made the race very boring.
The cars are the stars of the sport, and I think that's why fans are there. I watched the whole pre-show. It is pretty interesting. Not pretty, it's really interesting about what goes on getting ready for a race. And it was the first time, I don't know why, it was maybe the camera angle that I haven't noticed this before, but those drivers getting into that car, I just noticed the guy's legs were like shoved together, and they're wedged into that seat, so they take up no space, and obviously aerodynamics and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing what these guys go through to drive a car. And then on top of that, how they keep that going for all these miles on a race course. Credit to those drivers. It's amazing what they have to do to get ready. As you say, it's so hot, everybody's sitting under umbrellas yesterday trying to keep cool wherever they could. But for us, like I say, the cars are very cool. There is no doubt about it. The places they race are incredibly cool. but the races themselves are as boring as hell, and I just don't get why people watch it. And I'd love to see some more passing. Matter of fact, the sport has an issue with it, and the commentators do, because you know what they talked about is that last year they had 48 passes on this track. So who would normally talk about that? But you can tell that the F1 is having an issue with the fact that there's just no passing going on, except at the back when you got a superior driver who can pass a weaker driver. At the front, there's no passing.
I mean, they obviously don't have that big of an issue, otherwise they would change it. Obviously, it's still very successful. Like Lewis Hamilton makes like $35 million a year just to race a car. But I think there is something to having greatness and having, people rally around Lewis Hamilton. I know who Lewis Hamilton is simply from how often he wins. So it is a good marketing tool. I mean, Tom Brady's famous from how great he is, and the Patriots are famous for how great he is. And so there's something to it, but we would like to see something different, like you would do in IndyCar.
Yeah, exactly. And we also watched IndyCar this weekend, and IndyCar suffered a little bit the same as the road courses. Again, IndyCar was on road courses. Now, there was a way more opportunity to pass. Scott Dixon went from last and finished fifth, I think it was. There's a great opportunity for that, for passing, but same issues. The guys on the top, Rossi, he's in front of the first lap, and he wins the race, unless they screw up in the pits. And here's what I don't like about the racing. You and I have talked about this before. Like, in the IndyCar, it was all about the tires. Who put the right tire on at the beginning? The fact that if you put a different tire on now, you had to use the reds as opposed to the blacks, and the blacks were performing better at certain times. You know what? Why can't they just have all the tires, or why can't they just use them whenever they want? I hate to see great drivers restricted because their tires were just crap at the end and risking their lives. I mean, they were talking about the amount of spinouts that could happen because of how worn down these tires were. I don't get it. Let them play with the best. Let them have his 20 tires. I don't give a shit. As long as they race the best. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, and for me, though, on that note, maybe we should see F1 guys go on an oval.
Oh, I love ovals.
Because you just said IndyCar was no different either. The front one. Maybe we're judging the cars too much. Maybe it's just the simple of the tracks, and maybe we need to put some F1. We need some F1 guys in an oval and see if the pole guy still wins or what. We also agree with that. We don't like the fact that they have limits on tires, limits on gas, all this stuff. We wish it'd be more of the driver winning. But even in NASCAR, you have Kurt Busch who wins a lot. Here every week, the Hondas have a better chance than the Chevys, or the Chevys have a better chance than the Hondas.
But there's much more variety in NASCAR for sure.
There is.
There isn't one guy winning every week.
Because they do ovals, though. So maybe it's just simply the tracks. Maybe we're getting on the cars, we're getting on the styles, maybe we're getting on the driver's technology. But maybe it's just simply the tracks, and maybe that's something I'd like to see. Maybe let's get an F1 race in an oval. Let's get one of those going.
Let's compare the Indianapolis 500 to the race we watched this weekend. Like, really? The Indianapolis 500 was phenomenal.
Did you know
lead changes all over the place. Yeah.
The pole sitter.
Yeah, the pole sitter. But first time in 19 years the pole sitter won.
Sure.
That doesn't happen very often because it's a race.
I'm going to use it as a counterbalance.
That's back and forth all the time. The amount of lead changes in Kentucky and the Indy 500 was unbelievable. And that's kind of racing I like to watch personally.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't really know. I don't really know the answer. Like I said, I think I just do an oval. I think it's the only way to see really is the driver of the car. But I do think everything has their thing and people like it. I think for me, because I'm into the high life. I like I'm not going to lie. I'm like every other person.
Well, you like the cities.
There's something about the cities and the cars and the driver to know Lewis Hamilton is like this guy, and they build him up to be, like I said, it'd be like meeting a Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. They build them up, so it's good promotional on their part. I'll give them credit, and they make the start very exciting. You're right, though, it's boring afterwards. You're right, the IndyCar maybe is less of the glam, but better racing. You get more drivers. Last to fifth, that's a ton of moves. And obviously, they have a little bit more crashes. Everything's not quite as neat as F1, so obviously that's cool. Yeah. And then NASCAR has their thing, which is simple. Most crashes, most passes, most
and everybody going full out,
but it's also kind of the most regular car, right? I mean, obviously their engines are insane, but the look of it on the outside is obviously more regular.
Car you're driving every day,
right? So everything's got their thing. Whatever your fix is, here's the cool part, right? Is the great thing with TV is you don't have to watch the whole thing. You know, if you're not going to it, you can watch the beginning of F1, the end of F1, then watch whatever you want of IndyCar, and then watch all of NASCAR if that's what we want. Yeah. They're on different times throughout the day. IndyCar kind of fills that gap every Sunday morning for us. we kind of turn on every Sunday morning.
Oh, F1, sorry. F1
Oh, sorry, what I say?
Yeah,
F1, so that's what I meant. Fills the morning for you, which is cool. It leads into the afternoon of IndyCar and NASCAR. So they all got their thing, right? And, but we're overall not the biggest fans, and that's why we watch it on TV. It's the best way to do it. You got all your commentators. You got to see inside the cars. Actually, that's the biggest camera, inside the car, seeing the wheels and stuff.
Well, actually, that's a good point you make there. The camera work is insane now. I mean, they got cameras on the helmets, like right behind the helmet of the driver. We actually get to see what they're doing now. We get to see what they're seeing. What happens in a pass. The skill that these drivers have at such high speeds it's insane. So TV has really made the sport, hugely successful with their camera work that they can do. I love watching it on TV as compared to going to live where you get to see cars buzz by you every once in a while on a road course. TV has made the sport fantastic and great to watch from the sense of where their cameras are. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It's really changed car racing for me. Talking to the drivers too, hearing their mic'd up situations. Now NASCAR's even taken to an extra extent of where they talk to the drivers from the commentary booth, not the pit crew. So very cool what they've been able to do there. Honestly, probably saved car racing for me. Is actually getting to hear the insides of what they're talking about, their strategy, how the car is running, what needs to be fixed, what doesn't need to be fixed. Are they going to have a problem? Are they not going to have a problem? And then obviously, good job on the commentators' part from knowing, obviously they know everything about car racing, and they just, that's the name of the game. Everything's got the thing. I always say that, basketball is the most boring regular season ever. The first round is probably the most boring first round of any playoffs in the history of sport is the first round of NBA basketball. But then they maybe get the exciting finishes, the exciting games because of the points, the dunks, the ability of these players that's so big. Every sport has their thing, right? And, I feel like it accomplishes enough for me that I enjoy all three. I'd like to see some changes. They're never going to happen, right? We were looking
you never know. You never know. Changes can't happen, but I agree with you 100%.
We love watching it because Lewis Hamilton's won 3 different cars.
Yeah.
He had
over his career, yeah.
I think the McLaren or Ferrari when he was young. Then he had the Red Bull, and now he has the Mercedes. So it kind of helps me believe that he is that great of a driver. But obviously, no telling. That's why I like your idea. We should almost start a petition. Let's get him on an oval. I like this idea. Let's get him on an oval. Exactly. I like this idea. I think that could really be something to put these F1 cars in. I think it'd be really, really cool to see can the track prove to be the difference, or is it still the greatness of a car?
There's great opinions on this because last year, and I'm going to forget the race, they actually put a turn in the middle of the oval.
The Roval.
The Roval, they call it. I forget where it was.
NASCAR.
So even Charlotte. There, not everybody agrees with ovals either. They did that to create that turn and make it interesting. We're huge oval fans because of the changes. But that was weird. And they obviously put it in there because they do ovals all the time. So you can't please every fan. Obviously, that's just our point. However, the cars are cool. The drivers are cool. Everything they do before the race starts actually, to me, is more exciting than the actual race itself. So they've got it figured out. The TV camera work is amazing. That keeps you engaged. But unfortunately, I don't like knowing who's going to win every time.
Although here's the one thing I will also say about IndyCar and kind of F1, to be honest with you, that I like over NASCAR is the length of the races.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Mr. Morton, what was it?
Like 70 laps. But they're long. It's a long
But it was 59 laps. It just feels shorter than hearing 400 miles.
Yeah.
That's something. But the Roval was very interesting too. I'd like to see maybe something like that too. But I just think, you could definitely make some changes. Maybe a restart. We see that in NASCAR now. Maybe a restart in F1 might do something, because I'm not going to lie, that beginning is hectic and so much fun. But, everything's got their thing. We'd like to see some changes done. Maybe force a driver. Here's a cool thing. Force every driver to switch cars like every 3 years.
Okay, now you're getting crazy.
No?
They're going to take money, man. Everything's about money. Come on. So we will we'll do that. We'll talk about car racing every weekend and things that we see. Of course, always part of our opinion is we get to give our opinion, which is what we do. And you can't beat the speed. You can't beat the cars. You can't beat the people that are around the different racing and all that. So that's what we look for. The cities they're in. It's very cool. That's one thing to say is these sports go to different cities every week, and it's amazing. That's one thing I do love about F1, because we're not close to Europe. We don't get to see that very often.
It's special.
So to see reports on the cities and all that, is pretty cool to watch from our perspective. So, there's lots to see. There's lots of changes we'd love to see. But that's why we get to make these comments. We hope you enjoy them. We always look for feedback as well.
Quick shout out to Lance Stroll. He's having a decent year. He keeps kind of not qualifying very well. He moves up during the races. Hopefully he can continue. James Hinchcliffe is doing pretty good in IndyCar.
He was right there in fourth. A little passing mistake he made.
No, really?
Hit his seventh, but really had a good week.
Quick shout out to the two Canadians there. Wickens is still trying to get healthy. He's an IndyCar guy. Hopefully he gets back soon. We did a story on him. Check that out. But shout out to the Canadians and Lance Stroll doing pretty well in F1. If he gets that better car that they always talk about, maybe puts him over the next level in the coming years.
There was actually an interview that sort of goes with this. The interview, one of the other drivers, forget his name, asked him, could you win if you had Lewis Hamilton's car? He said, of course I could win. So that tells you that even the drivers...
Well, Hamilton, man up and switch cars.
Even the drivers say it's about the car. But anyway, that's enough ranting on. We love the sport itself. We love the cars. We love the cities. And we just wish they'd do something about Hamilton not winning every single week. So we'll leave it at that. And we'll talk to you next week as we lead into another weekend of racing.